We have got to stop getting rid of the idea that if we just had the formula, that we would get it right and we would be perfect. So for all those people that thought I was just going to give you the formula today, uh-oh, don't leave yet, don't leave yet. That this is, in fact, really eating away at our happiness, because what ends up happening is we're constantly feeling like we're falling short. We feel like we're pulled in too many directions. How can I be a good wife? How can I be a good worker? How can I be good to my kids? And instead, what we end up finding is that we can't. We can't. So we're like, oh, you know what? I should have gone to that practice today. Oh, you know what? I should have gone to the choir concert. I feel terrible that I missed that. And so there's something about guilt and parenthood that kind of goes together like milk and cookies, that we can't seem to separate these two. Well, I want to talk to you about this notion of how we can get rid of some of the guilt in our life, and that's to understand how guilt works as a psychological concept. And so really, when we feel guilty, that it's the gap that we're experiencing, this unhappiness guilt gap. And it's the difference between the expectation, that Ken and Barbie expectation for how we're supposed to be performing in life, versus how we really are managing our lives. The difference between our expectations for ourselves and how we're really doing. And the bigger that gap, the more we're going to feel psychic stress and pain and feel unhappiness. Now, most people think, well, I'm just going to go to a talk and I'm just going to read a parenting book and I'm just going to go to that gym and I'm going to just really kick it into gear and I'm going to finally, hit the bar. Well, actually, we're really doing fine already. That rather than trying to energize ourselves to hit our expectations, we need to reduce the gap between them by understanding, by looking around our lives and saying, you know what? This ain't so bad. And what we're finding in modern parenting today, as a matter of fact, that we are parenting better than any generation before us. That, in fact, kids' lives are healthier than ever before. Parent-child relationships are better than ever before. That we're doing wonderful advances in terms of being able to have good, healthy relationships with our kids. And we see this as reported to us more negatively in the whole failure to launch, phenomena. We've got a lot of kids who kind of aren't leaving home. Well, if you actually look at that through a different lens, do you want your kids gone? I've got a boomerang child at home. She's 21, and I have to say, when she first moved back home, when she'd say, like, Mom, when's dinner? I would just like, nah! But again, I had to look at the reality and say, if you really don't want her here, then ask her to leave. And I said, you know what? I do want her here, so I better change my attitude. And that's part of what I'm talking about today, is that we can actually make ourselves a lot happier by thinking about things differently.